Good evening, friends. OSRS Noob here with another episode of Building the Titanic in Minecraft Progress Series. I believe this is episode number 15, and this will be a special one. I have made zero progress on Normandie Junction's tutorials since my last episode. However, I've spent the last week or so adding something different to my ship of my own design, which I will share and show you how to do it yourself if you would like to do the same. That's right, today's video is a tutorial and may prove to be a long one, at least longer than my normal videos. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get going. Before we start off, I would like to thank all of my subscribers and followers for their continued support of this build. I've gained over 50 new subscribers since I started this journey. My first video in the series aired October 30th, 2024, and it's not a lot by most standards, but it feels good to me to know that there are people who enjoy my content enough to hang out, so thank you. Also, a huge thank you to Normandie Junction for all the hard work he has put into designing this enormous ship and putting that design out there for all of us to build ourselves. If you're interested in building this for yourself, head on over to his channel and start your own journey. The link is in the description. Now that that is out of the way, those of you who have been following along may remember when my son added a little surprise to my ship. As you know, these elevators don't move. Unfortunately, you can't use them to go between the floors. So my son took it upon himself. So he added buttons. As you can see, I'm on B deck right now. Push this button here. I am now on C deck in this elevator. Started out in the center one up there. So, and if I want to, let's say I want to go down from here, I can go back up to B deck, or I can go down to D deck. So let's try D deck. Now I'm over here. I think this was an awesome little surprise he added for me. That all came about after I added the elevator shafts and casually mentioned how awesome it would be if I could use them as elevators. So he created the next best thing for me, a command block teleportation system that allowed me to teleport between the elevator cars on the different decks. But I still never gave up hope that something could be done to get an actual working elevator in the ship. After much research on how to build elevators in Bedrock, specifically multi-floor elevators, I happened upon Tomco. This tutorial proved to be everything I needed in a very nice compact design. It even comes with doors. By the way, behind me is a little village of my daughter's design. She decided to hang out in my world while I was working on this and came up with her own little village. Might see that in on the realm when I upload this to the realm. But anyway, welcome to Elevator Alley. Of course, I could not just add this to my ship all willy-nilly like. I needed to build it, test it, build it again, make sure the elevator stopped at the proper level for each deck, etc. But here it is, Tomco's final elevator design. As you can see, pressing any of the floor buttons causes the elevator to close its doors, rise to the next level, and open the doors there. There you go, there's 2. I can push 3. There it goes. Each button corresponding to each floor. First button, floor 1, second button, floor 2, and so on. As it stands, this elevator is perfect. Let's bring it back down. And watch it come back down again. Like I said, as it stands, this elevator is perfect. You can use it as it is right now without any problems. However, this design is for every multi-level building out there, such as an apartment building, office building, etc., and in my opinion, does not work very well for a ship. You see, on a ship, the floors are reversed. The first floor is actually at the top, or A deck, and the last floor is on the bottom, in our case, E deck. That's where this next shaft comes in. Both are identical in every way, except for the redstone which controls it. It took me a bit of trial and error since I know very little about redstone, but I managed to work out how to reverse the redstone, while maintaining all of the compactness as possible. As you can see back here, this is Tomco's design, and this is my modified design, so I had to figure out how to reverse the floors. But it works. Now when you push the first button, it will go all the way up to the top floor where it belongs. This takes a while, so for the sake of time, I might speed up. Nah, maybe not. It's going quicker than I thought it would. But as you can see, there it goes. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it does the job. And there we have it. It is officially on A deck. So if I want to go to B deck, then I would push this button. As you remember, when I pushed the second floor button on this one, it went up there. This one comes down to B deck. There we have it. Now you may be wondering if this will fit inside the shafts of the ship. Well, yes it does, and that's why we're here today. I'm going to show you how to take this, your elevator shaft, add this, the design we just were playing with over there, and end up with this. A fully working elevator shaft in your ship. Well, we'll go to D deck instead of B deck. Alright, give it a moment. And there it is. The door's just opened. Perfect. So, a couple of things before we get started. First, while this entire contraption will fit within the confines of the elevator shaft, it will stick out of the bottom into F deck by 1 block. This can be resolved, if you wish, by raising the elevator up by 1 block, if you choose. There is plenty of room above. Just remember that by doing so, the platform you stand on will be 1 block higher than deck level. So, as it's designed right now, the platform you stand on is deck level. Just walk right in. If you want to raise it up, then these 4 blocks will actually be up here. So you'd have to go up and jump in. That's completely up to you. Like I said, I chose to leave the platform at deck level and protrude into F deck. Looking at the plans and talking to Normandie about it, it does not look like it'll interfere with anything on that deck, and you can just make a lower ceiling when the time comes. Looking at the plans, it looks like it's pretty much an open space underneath. Maybe it's a corridor or something, I don't know, but it doesn't look like there's any structures or anything that interfere with, so we can just make a lower ceiling for that little section. I can't stop hitting the wrong buttons. It's really not a large area, but like I said, it does come into the deck. These are frames in the ceiling, but it does come down into the deck by 1 block. Alright. Second, you can choose in which shaft you want to install it. However, it will only fit in either the left shaft or the center one. The width of the elevator is such that it will extend into the shaft to the right by a couple of blocks. There happens to be a car there. I'll come up and show you this. There happens to be a car there, right? Like there is on this side. You'll need to shrink it by a block. Putting this elevator, into this shaft will cause it to protrude from the right wall, and we don't want that. My suggestion, though, is to use the center shaft for your build. This will allow you the most maneuverability around it without having to break through the walls. Because if you put it over on the left side, while it'll fit in here when you're finished, you may have to actually bust through this wall in order to get around the components while you're building it. That's what you want to do, that's fine. Just letting you know ahead of time. For ease of use, putting in a center shaft is the best. Right, and third, you can choose whether or not to have doors on the elevator. If you choose not to have doors, you will need to adjust the build accordingly, and I will let you know when it's time. Or I'll let you know where to start if you're not doing doors, and then you can just skip that part of the tutorial when the time comes. Right? And finally, you can build this either in the ship or outside like I have it. The choice is yours. If you have World Builder or are proficient with structure blocks, it is very possible to copy your current shafts, paste them out here, and copy-paste them back into the ship when you're done, which is exactly what I did. Word of caution though, whether you're using World Builder or structure blocks, copying and pasting the completed project quite often breaks the elevator. You will need to either go in the shaft and manually repair it. Usually just means bringing or resetting a few of the blocks back to where they belong, or I found repasting again fixes it most times. I don't think I've had to do it more than 3 times to get it working. Either way, I'll show you what needs to be fixed at the end. For those of you who do not have access to World Builder, don't know anything about structure blocks, or would rather just build it in place, this is exactly what we are going to do. This shaft over here is where we're going to do the build. I'm going to build it right along with you as though we are in the ship doing it. I'm not doing it in my ship because I've already finished it and it's already in there. Haha. Alright. So for supplies, I have 3 shulker boxes here. This red one has everything we will need to build this. I don't know exact amounts of everything, but you'll need everything here. Alright. So if you want to pause the video and take a screenshot so you know what you need to get, go right ahead. This black box just has some extra stuff that you'll also need for the build. Things that aren't stackable and that wouldn't fit in the other one, so I stuck them in here. So you will need 5 shovels. Wooden shovels are fine for the build. And all of the powdered snow buckets are for the doors. You need 20 of them. If you're not doing doors, then you don't need these. But you definitely need the shovels, so make sure you have them as well. Okay? And the third box is just the stuff that I'll need to fix my shaft when it's done. Depending on the design of your shaft and how you have it set up, colors-wise and everything else, you may need different stuff, but this is just my supplies box to put everything back together when we finish. Alright. So, sorry about all the talking, I just felt you needed to know some stuff before we get going. But with that, let's get building. We're going to start with some demolition first. Don't worry, we will not have to disturb anything but the shaft structure itself. Your grand staircase, your walls, none of that will be untouched. Well, all of that will be untouched. But ignore this command block. I just have it here just so I can get back to my ship real quick, which we're in. Alright, so to start off, come on up to the boat deck. I'll just come out here real quick. Come on up to the boat deck, into your grand staircase, and you're going to have to go through the elevator gear room inside the officer's quarters area. Alright, inside here you'll notice I have these 4 orange blocks. Alright, so these are blocks I will explain in a moment once we head back outside. Alright, so here we are. That shaft there is the one I used in order to actually make the tutorial. So I've built this thing probably 6 times. I could almost probably do it myself, or without any notes, but I got my notes just in case I missed something. But anyway, back to what we're doing. So these orange blocks here, we need to remove everything in between these blocks. All right, so we're one block to the right of this gray concrete line, or if you want to come from the I'm trying to think the end of the I'm trying to remember where this is. I think this is in the boat deck. If you want to come from the end of the shaft, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks in. All right, so we want to remove all of this. All right, and on the same side, this line where the wall is that separates between the left shaft and the center shaft, you want to remove all of this. Oh, you don't need to remove that. All right. Now you want to remove everything in between. All right, we'll just get rid of all this. You need access to the shaft, so we're just gonna, don't worry, all of this will get put back when we're done. All right, let's get rid of all these blocks. These two as well. All right, if you want, which I didn't do, you could. Let me grab that gray block again. Might help you later. You can put a gray block down to signify where the gray block lines were originally. Alright, if you want to, you don't have to. But that way we know where the dividers were. If you're by chance doing this shaft instead of the center shaft, then you will need to remove this section, and like over here, 1 block into the shaft. So you're going to be removing this entire area here. This gray block all the way to here. Alright? But like I said, you're better off doing it in the center shaft because you're going to have a lot more room. Alright, next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of our car that's in the middle, because that's just going to be in the way. Alright, so get rid of your chains. I can figure out how to... Oh, I'm stuck on top of a chain. Why was I going down? Oh my god, these chains. Alright, get rid of your chains. And we need to get rid of the car. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. For sake of time, I'm using World Builder. We're just going to get rid of the car this way. Alright? So let's see. Figure out a good spot to do it. I'll start down here. Select this block. We'll go all the way up here. This corner. And let's go up high enough. Cover if we can. High enough to cover that. Alright. So end result is we want to get rid of that. Boom. Done. Alright. So the elevator car is gone. Alright. What you're going to do, again, for ease of use, for simplicity, and you'll thank me later, get rid of all of your iron bars. Alright. Again, we are going to do this the easy way. Trying not to make this video extremely long. Do this. So we'll just get rid of stuff this way. Alright, but you want to get rid of the iron bars on that had the yellow. I was like, why are there no bars there? Yeah, you want to get rid of the iron bars on every floor. You'll end up putting most of them back, but for now, we just need to get rid of them. You're going to thank me later when we have to go in and out of the elevator for different purposes on different floors. So let's just get rid of them. Alright. Select, cut, boom, gone. Alright, so that's that. All the iron bars are gone. Alright, so next, we have to get rid of this entire wall. This entire wall has to go. And this wall you will not be putting back because it's just going to be in the way. So let's do that now. Down all the way down here. Alright, I'm going to leave that there for right. Am I going to leave that there for right now? Yeah, I'm leaving that there for right now. Alright, but you want to get rid of this entire wall. Boom, gone. Alright. Alright, next, get rid of all your smooth stone slabs that are down here. You're not going to have sea lanterns. I have them there for reference points for stuff. But you want to get rid of all your smooth stone slabs. Alright. I could have selected and cut them like the rest, but that didn't take too long. Alright, I'll finish getting rid of this part of the wall. Like I said, the entire wall has to go. Alright, so now we need to get rid of the floor. Alright, so from this corner here, alright, from this corner, you want to go 1 block under the line. Alright, so we want to get rid of everything. Put that back. Alright, we want to get rid of everything to this block, which is 3 in from the corner wall here. And again, you want to get rid of underneath the... Alright, let me just double check. Just checking my notes, I'm sorry. I actually wrote them on Word, so that way I can read them. But I'm just making sure that I'm following them correctly. Yep, alright, we're good. Like I said, so we want to remove all of the blocks and all of the slabs from this corner of the door, all right, to under the black wool. And then from this corner, again, to under the black wool. And then just get rid of everything in between. All right, this is where we need all this room for machine. All right, and actually I think I found out later that we actually need to get rid of this one too. There's a reason why I got rid of that one, but I believe it was just for room. All right, there we go. And by the way, if it's dark in here, you have a couple options. You can put some sea lanterns in. You can get some light blocks, some of these light blocks, stick them around. Or the ideal suggestion would be night vision. Get yourself some night vision, preferably infinite night vision, so that way it doesn't take up an inventory space. And have at it. That's if it's dark. I mean, it's not... Well, I got night vision on, but it's... amount of daylight, all sorts of open areas. Might not be too dark for me, but inside the ship, it probably will be. So get yourself some light of some sort. All right. So that's done. All right. So now we need to... I'm going to get rid of these because I don't need these anymore. They're confusing me. All right. So now we need to get rid of a part of this back wall. Now it's only the black wall we're getting rid of. We're not getting rid of the exterior red wall that's behind it. So we're going to remove all of this black, right? We're going to go this first concrete line, this first concrete floor. This would be the bottom of A deck, right? We want to go 2 blocks down, right next to this long black concrete line. So it's 2 blocks down, and we want to remove from here all the way to this wall, I believe. That's right. Yep. So we want to go from there all the way down to here. We want to remove, which is the bottom of D deck. We want to take this whole line out as well. All right. So this entire black wool line has to go away. We need this for the contraption. All right, so say goodbye to this. Boom. The entire build will fit in here. We don't have to worry about touching this red wall. So that's always good. All right, I'll get rid of these slabs. Okay. So that one's done. So now we got to get rid of the front wall. A lot of this will get put back when we're done, but for now, we need to get rid of it for sure in order to do this. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I thought I did my notes good enough, but I'm getting kind of confused. We need. Well, I know how wide it is, so you know what? We're just going to get rid of from here. All right, we're going to remove this entire area all the way down to the bottom. All right. And maybe I won't keep destroying other stuff. All right, so again, you want to remove this entire line of gray concrete. Or, I'm sorry, black wool and gray concrete. All of this. This all has to go. So let's do that again. I'm sorry if my instructions aren't clear. I'm hoping to try and do this as clear as possible. But, you know, I'm not a great tutorial person. I don't think. I don't know. Let me know. So let's get rid of that. Boom, gone. All right, so this wall is now gone. Now, remember, we also need to, because the elevator shaft cuts into this shaft by 2 blocks total. All right, we've already done one by removing the wall. Alright, we've already done one by removing this wall that was here. So now we need to actually get rid of one more line of blocks. Alright. Same holds true for any shaft you have, any car you have in this elevator. Alright. This entire one block wall has to go away in order for this thing to fit. So we're going to select this and select that. And then we're just going to remove that wall. I'll show you later how we're going to fix it. It's really not that bad. Just shrinking it down by one block. So the wall will be here instead of here. Not too horrible, but it's still got to be done. And actually we should also... I don't need to do that. So, nope, we're good. And one more thing we got to get rid of is this wall. But this wall will go back when we're done. This is just for maneuverability purposes. All right. So we're just gonna get rid of the black wool. All this black wool will go back in when we're finished. So don't worry about that. This is, like I said, this is just so we can get around the build when we're doing it. So take that wall out too. You can leave the black concrete. That's fine. That's not gonna. That won't get in your way. But the rest of the wall will because you gotta maneuver around things and get around stuff. So it's just easier to get rid of that. It doesn't take long to put it back. So there it is. It's the entire elevator shaft prepped and ready for building. All right, we'll just go up here. Let me fix this real quick. All right. If I forgot anything, we'll find out along the way. But this is what your prepped shaft should look like. Okay. All right. So now it's time to start prepping the outside of the structure. So for that, I'm just gonna get rid of these things real quick. Don't get confused. For that, I need to get my supplies. So I'm gonna grab everything in here. And we'll just give me a second here. So I'm going to build this thing right along with you guys. I'm not going to do any jump cuts. You know, I'm not going to, if I have to repeat the process, I'm going to repeat it with you. I'm not going to do any jump cuts. Just to make sure everybody knows what's going on. All right. I may cut here and there for different purposes, you know, nature calls or I need to get something to drink or whatever. But I'll try and keep this one continuous video. And I'll try and keep it as short as possible. The only time I'll use World Builder, and that was probably the only time I really need it. So I won't even use World Builder for copying and pasting stuff. I just use it to make it quicker for getting rid of all this other stuff. All right, so first off, we got to prep the outside. So grab some brown concrete, some signs, and some buttons, right? Or it doesn't have to be brown concrete; it could be whatever color you made. Excuse me, whatever color you made your elevator. In my case, it was brown concrete, and I like using the dark oak buttons and the dark oak signs. I think it just goes with the aesthetic. So, all right. So we're gonna start here. All right, we're gonna go 2 blocks up from this black concrete line. 1, 2. And you're going to put in 2 brown concrete blocks. All right. From here, now this is for your buttons. All right. If you decide you want the elevator up a block so it doesn't protrude into F deck, then you'll want to place these 2 blocks up here instead. All right. But I'm building this, like I said, with the platform at deck level. So you're doing the same thing. You want to go the second block up from the black concrete and stick your blocks there. And you need 5 buttons. So any decorations you have in the way, you're going to have to get rid of them and put in your 5 buttons just like that. All right. Now, if you want signs, we got to repeat the process. 2 buttons up top, remove your decorations, and then put in your signs. All right. You can label them whatever you want. A deck. All right, B deck. All right, C deck. Oop. Again, if you want signs, put them on. You don't have to have them. I just think people would like to know what button what button goes where. You know, you don't go into an elevator and not know what floor you're selecting. So there you go. Got some signs. All right. So you want to repeat this for every floor. All right. Like I said, this is where you'll thank me that you got rid of all the iron bars, because you don't have to travel through the ship. You just go right up the shaft. So 1, 2. All right. 2 blocks. Come on. 2 blocks out. Put your buttons in. Don't destroy the block. Put your buttons in. Oh, come on. Like I said, don't destroy the block. Alright, 5 buttons. We'll get rid of these 2. 5 signs. I'm not going to label all the signs. Oh, come on. Maybe I'll label them later. Maybe I won't. But you get the idea. Alright. Up to the next floor. Same thing. 2 blocks up. 2 blocks out. Alright. Buttons. And signs. Again, don't destroy your blocks. I'll just stick that in there. Alright. Next floor. 2 blocks up. 2 blocks out. Buttons. And your signs. Ugh, come on. What happens if you're trying to do this quickly? And last floor. Alright, 1, 2, 2 buttons. And your signs. Yay, I didn't destroy the wood block that time. Alright. There it is. There's your five floors. All prepped and ready to go. Alright, let me just grab my notes here. Alright, with that done, now it's time to build the elevator itself. So come on back down there to the E deck, your bottom floor. And grab yourself really any block, but I've been using this lime wool. Alright. Good for color coding and knowing what does what. Alright. So here we want to go 1 block up. And I forgot to tell you. See? I didn't have it in my notes. We also need 2 gray concretes on the bottom. So I forgot to tell you. So, sorry. I go back up, put 2 more gray concretes on the bottom. So you should have 3 rows of brown concrete. Alright. Alright. Alright, so back to your lime wool. So 1 block above the gray. And we need 5 blocks put down. Alright, just like that. Now again, if you're building this 1 block up, this will have to be up here. You basically want these blocks on the block below your buttons. So if your buttons are up here, these blocks will be here. If your buttons are here, like mine, this block will be down here. Alright, hope that explains it enough. After you put those 5 down, put another row down. So you should have 2 blocks, just like that. Alright? 2 blocks, 1 block underneath your buttons, wherever your buttons may lie. Now, if you're not putting doors in, if you decide you do not want to put doors in, you do not need this second row of blocks. Alright? This second row of blocks I added to the build so that my doors could be recessed behind the walls. Right? Originally, I had the 1 block and the doors were in line with this. It made it very difficult to hide them because I mean, if you look at this thing, it's not very pretty. Right? All of this was showing. All of this was showing. I tried hiding it best I could with pillars and whatnot, but you couldn't see it. So what I decided to do was I decided to push the whole build back 1 block, so that way I could put stuff in front of the devices here, so you can see that. That way everything's hidden a lot better than it was when I first originally did it, which I don't have that build out here. I got rid of it. So that's why there's 2 rows of these lime wool blocks. I just basically extended the build out by 1 block so we could hide everything behind the walls. Right? But if you're not having doors, you can accomplish the same thing by just using 1 row of blocks like this. Because without the doors, the whole thing comes in by 1 anyway. All right, and the doors don't have all of that other stuff. So your doors, this is your door circuit. So if you're not having doors, you won't have any of this. So there's no need for the other stuff. All right. So moving along, if I can get over here. Moving along. So now I'm going to continue on as if you're having doors. All right. So you need 2 rows of blocks, 2 rows of lime wool blocks. On the block, behind the block directly underneath the buttons. All right. On top of these blocks, you want to put repeaters. All right. And you want them facing away from the wall, like so. All right. I'm no redstone expert. This is probably the wrong way to do it. If you know a better way, be my guest. But this is the way I got it to work, so this is the way I'm doing it. Alright. So you want to repeat this and make sure they're all set for 1 tick as well. So they should be grouped together just like this, facing away, facing towards the back of the elevator shaft. Okay? Alright. So next, we need to go, let me just cross those off my notes. We did that, we did that, we did that. Alright. So now, from this block, we need a temporary block. We need 2 temporary blocks, and then 1 on top. Alright? Just like that. And you can get rid of those 2. Alright, so this block should be directly behind the repeaters. Alright, so we'll put 5 blocks there. Alright? And by the way, these are all temporary blocks as well. Alright, they're all temporary blocks. Because what you need next is a trapdoor of any kind, be oak or whatever. We're going to put a trapdoor just like this on each block. Make sure that when they close downward. Alright, just like that. Once they're in, you can get rid of these. Alright, so you should have 5 floating trapdoors that face downward when you open them. Alright? Alright, so that's done. Next, we need walls. Alright, so grab some walls. Doesn't matter what kind of walls, you just need walls. Alright? So we need to put a wall behind each trapdoor. Maybe a wall instead of a trapdoor. Alright. There. We need a wall behind each trapdoor like this. Alright, and plus 1 extra. So you should have 6 walls here. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 walls. And then on this side, we're going to add some glazed terracotta. Whatever glazed terracotta you want, as long as it's glazed terracotta because it doesn't stick to slime blocks. Alright, so it should look like this when you're done. You should have 10 blocks with repeaters on top of them facing the back. You should have 5 trap doors above them that flip down. When you open them, you should have a wall behind every trap door plus 1 on the end. And you should have glazed terracotta on this end. And if you notice, when you flip down the wall, or flip down the trap door, it should affect the wall. Alright? Now, test to make sure this works, if you push a button, that trapdoor should go down, which it does. Right, push another button, trapdoor goes down, the wall moves. All right. All right. So now we're going to repeat this for each floor. All right. So let's do this again. So let's go up. Block above the gray. We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 more behind it. All right. We want a repeater on top of that, on top of all of them, facing the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And we're gonna do two temporary blocks back, one block up. Move those. You don't have to put these here. It just, I find it's easier to try and put the trapdoors down when you have something to attach them to, instead of trying to do them on the sides. All right. And then if you want to make this a little easier, you can just remove one of the blocks, put a wall in, and then your five more walls. Remember, you need 6 total, and your glazed terracotta on the side. And then if you want, you can test them, make sure they work, and there they do. All right. They all seem to be working. All right, next floor. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 more behind. Repeaters on top, all facing the back. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, come back here, go 2 blocks back, 1 block up, move those 2 blocks, bring this all the way out to the side. Your trapdoor in the front of each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure they all flip down, which they do. I remember the first one I built, I had a problem with one of the floors. Couldn't figure out why until I realized the trapdoor flipped the other way. I was like, all right. So, yep, just make sure they all flip down. And then put your walls in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls. And your glazed terracotta. All right. If you want, I mean, they should work. They do. All right. Next floor. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 repeaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get your lime wool. 2 blocks out, 1 block up. Remove those 2. Put your like I said, you can, if you want, you can do it this way. It's just get a sneak 4, 5, 5. Alright, whoops. 5. And quite literally, that's exactly what you need. And then you can put your walls 3, 4, 5. We got 1 more over here. Oops. 1 more over here. And your glazed terracotta on the end. Alright. And again, let's test it. And they work. Alright. And, oh, 1 more. Last floor. Alright. 1 more time. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeaters on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 blocks out, 1 block up, and get rid of those. Put the trapdoors on. 1. Really? 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Alright, they all face. See, look, that one goes the wrong way. Still goes the wrong way. Let's get. Alright, so they all go up. They all go to correct direction. Put our walls in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our glazed terracotta. And then just double check our couple of our buttons, make sure they're working. All right, good. There we have it. There's all 5 floors done. Should look like that. All right. Now let's head back to the bottom. This terracotta, we're going to do is we're going to raise this terracotta all the way up to the top. All right, so we're just going straight up. All right, should go all the way to the last floor. Which, that's it. All right, stop right there. And let's head back down, and we do the same thing for the walls. So we should have a line of walls, or a wall of walls, however you want to call it, all the way up the elevator shaft. This is actually what's going to send the signal from these buttons all the way down to the redstone. I'll show you when it's done. It's pretty neat. I'm sure many of you know a lot more about redstone than I do, and can probably take this design and make it even better. But, oops. This is my first redstone build, and I was pretty proud of the fact that I was able to actually take the original design and modify it for what I needed it for. Still keep it compact. Alright, a couple more. Maybe if I go all the way down to the bottom. And it's this wall is why it cuts into the elevator to the left of me. I keep going up. I just want to keep going. If say this was only 4 floors, then we wouldn't need to shrink the elevator. But since it's 5, we got that extra wall. I'm pretty sure this wall here is just to prevent anything else from touching. This wall is to prevent anything else from touching to affect the... Excuse me, my dog is being a pain in the butt right now. Sorry about that. This extra wall, I believe, is just to prevent rogue signals from getting through. So if we come up here and we push a button, you can see the wall sends a signal all the way down. And that's what's going to let the system know which elevator you're choosing, which floor you're choosing. All right. So now that one's done, now we gotta head all the way back down. All right. Come from the bottom of the wall here and grab some observers. All right. And we want to place an observer underneath each wall that has a trapdoor in front of it. You want to make sure he's facing up. Right? Yeah. You want to make sure it's facing this way. You want the arrow pointing downward. All right? So you want 5 observers just like that. All right? And you want to add another block, lime wool block, or whatever block you're choosing underneath the observer. On that block, we're going to, let me grab one real quick. On that block, we're going to place a redstone torch, just like this. All right, next, we need to, from this block, we're going to, all right, from here, we need a temporary block and then 1 block down. All right, you can remove that one, and we're gonna extend this all the way to the end. All right, so you just have 5 total underneath here. On top of this, we're going to put some redstone dust. You know, I'm going to need that next. So okay, I'm going to put some redstone dust on top of all of these blocks. Just like so. Okay, so that's done. All right, next. Now, below each torch, we need droppers. Not dispensers, we need droppers. All right, so here, you want to go underneath the torch itself, and you want to place a dropper. You want to make sure it's facing down, like this. All right, so make sure the opening is facing down. All right. So from this block here, all right, we need to go 1 block down, 1 block out. All right, we can get rid of that one. And we'll extend these that way. This is, you want to put 5 more droppers. They're just but you need them facing up. All right, so 3, 4, 5. So you should have 5 droppers facing down, 5 droppers facing up. Right? And then you can get rid of those. Just like so. Alright. Perfect. Now we need another row of blocks back here. Let's not do that. So, get another row of blocks behind the droppers. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then on top of those blocks, we need to place comparators. They need to be facing away. So we want to face them like this. Alright, 5 comparators on top of those blocks, just like that. Alright, and we'll do another temporary block here and go 1 block up. Move that one. Okay. And then again, drag this back. We got 5 total. And we're going to put a torch on top of each of these blocks. Just like so. Okay. Now, let's go out. You need to get your shovels. So let's go out and get my shovels. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright. Now what you want to do is you want to place 1 shovel inside each dropper. And only shovels, nothing else. Alright? When you put a shovel in, you'll notice these lights go out, these comparators turn on, and the torches go off. It's exactly what you want to happen. Okay? 3rd one, another shovel in. 4th one, we'll stick another shovel in. And the 5th one, the last shovel. Alright? There you go. All 5 comparators are on, all 5 torches are off. Alright? Now, this is the circuit that's going to tell you which floor you selected. So if you go out here and you select, let's say, A deck, this comparator, this torch should turn on, which it does. Now let's say we changed our mind, we want to go to D deck instead. That torch turned off and the D deck torch turned on. Alright? And that will work for any of the floors. So even if we come up here and we select C deck, it'll send a signal down the wall, and there you go. C deck torch is lit. Alright? So this is what this section should look like. You want to pause it for a second and take a look. But this is exactly what this section should look like, and everything should be working. I'm going to start with building all the stops for the elevators. So let's head up here to D deck, or the 2nd floor. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in line with this trapdoor. All right. We want to put a temporary block right there. All right. So top of the block should be aligned with the trapdoor. All right. So on the side of this temporary block, all right, if you're facing the back, it should be the left side. All right. So on top, on the side of this block, we want to put a piston facing upwards like that. Below the piston, we want to put a glazed terracotta. And then next to that, just like so, another piston facing up. All right. So we should remove that temporary block and you should see something like this. Okay. So we're going to repeat that for all the rest of the floors. So come up here to this trapdoor. Again, a temporary block. Not there. Right there. All right. We're going to put a piston on the side of it, facing upwards. Underneath it, we're going to put a glazed terracotta. And then we're going to put another piston on the side of that, facing upwards. Again, it should be in an L shape like that. All right. Remove that temporary block and head up to the next one. All right. So temporary block on the wall, piston on the side, facing up, glazed terracotta underneath, piston facing up. Remove the temporary block. And last wall. All right. Temporary block. It can be any block. But piston facing upwards. Glazed terracotta underneath. And another piston facing upwards like that. And remove your temporary block. All right. So you should have 5, or 4 rather, little L-shaped add-ons like this. All right. Perfect. Next we're going to do is grab yourself a slab. Any slab will work. I'll use quartz. All right. And we're going to go 1 block underneath and 1 block out and remove that first block. All right. On top of this, we're going to place a repeater facing the pistons. Okay. Now, behind this, we're going to go 2 blocks out and 1 block up. All right. On this block, we're going to put a torch. And when you put this torch, it should activate those 2 pistons, which is perfect. And then you can get rid of those 2. All right, just like that. All right. So we do that again up here. 2 blocks out. Remove the first block. On top of that, we'll put a repeater. Or that's the torch. Put a repeater. And 2 temporary blocks. 1 block up. Torch in the middle. Alright. Pistons go up. We're good. Get rid of those 2 and move up next. Next floor. Alright. Again. 2 slabs. Remove 1. Put the repeater on top. And we'll do 2 blocks to the left. 1 block up. Torch in the middle. Pistons go up. Remove those 2. Right. And last one. 2 slabs. Remove the first slab. Repeater on top. 2 blocks left. 1 block up. Torch in the middle. Pistons go up. Perfect. Alright. So head on back down again. We'll do the next step. Which is, hold on a second. Let me just check. All right, good. That's done. All right. Now, on the terracotta wall here, all right, we want to put 2 blocks down and 1 block to the side. So you want this type of L, like this, all right? And now we need, I don't know why I don't have my observers anymore, but, all right. Now we need to get rid of this block, and we're going to put an observer in here facing the wall. Alright, so you want to make sure that the arrow is facing the wall. Alright, and then you can get rid of those 2. Alright, we're going to do that again for each floor. We're just not doing the bottom floor. Alright, 2 blocks down, 1 block out. Remove the middle one. Observer facing the wall. Perfect. Next floor. Same deal. 2 blocks down, 1 block out. Remove the center block. Observer facing the wall. Right, just make sure. Perfect. Good. Don't remove your terracotta. And last one. Same deal as before. 2 blocks down, 1 block out. Remove the center one. Your observer in, facing the wall. Alright. Perfect. Just like that. Alright. So now we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. All the way down to the bottom. Right? We're going to take a glass block or any block you choose. Glass is just kind of cool because you can see through it. And we're going to put a glass block right here on the bottom of the terracotta wall. And we're going to drag it all the way to the top. In between all of the observers. So let's go on this side. It'll be a lot easier. Alright, so then we'll just take it all the way up. All the way up in between the observers. All the way to the top. Now we're going to go back all the way down again. Alright, we're going to put a temporary block here, and we'll put another glass block there. I'll get rid of that one, and do the same thing. This one goes all the way up. In between the torch blocks. All the way to the end. Alright, perfect. So, do that. That's done. That's good. Alright. Now, back down to the bottom again. This time, we're going to take a wall and put it in between. Alright, so we're going to go all the way up. All the way up. Fill this entire gap with walls. Just like that. Alright. The reason we use a quartz slab for this instead of a regular block is that a quartz slab doesn't interfere with the wall. If you were to put a regular block there, like let's say that one, the wall gets activated. We don't want that. So quartz slab is there to put the repeater on so it doesn't interfere with the wall. Because this is another signal wall. For what? I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked at it to see what it does. I probably should if I'm doing this. I'm trying to learn this stuff, but one of these days I'll take a look and see what causes it to activate. But yet, it's another signal wall of some sort, and the quartz slabs are used to keep it from activating the wall. All right, so That's done. Good, good. Now we go all the way back down to the bottom again. All right. And what we want to do is we need to extend this wall by 2 blocks. All right. So 2 blocks, 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, all right. 2 blocks. Under this wall, we need another observer facing down. So every way I want to do it, the easiest way I find is if you just stack a row of blocks. And you just need them facing down. Alright? Well, of course he's facing up. So you just go underneath it like this then. I'm still confused about directions sometimes, but yeah, just go underneath the wall, place an observer, make sure he's pointing down. Alright, perfect. Now we want another observer facing the front. So place one next to him, make sure he's facing the front, which he is. Then we need another block right here. Alright, so again, one observer under the wall facing the front, or rather facing down, an observer next to him facing the wall, and directly below him at the end of this line, put another block. Alright. And on top of this block, we need another repeater. And the repeater has to face the front of the elevator. Just like that. Okay? Alright, so that section's done. Now let's head back up to the second floor. So now we need a sticky piston. So let's grab a sticky piston. I don't think I need more glass right now. So on this block right here, alright, let me just double check. Below the block of the torch. Okay, a sticky piston to the left. Yeah, I said to the left. Now, is it the left facing this way, or is it to the left facing this way? That's parts of my directions I left out. I'm going to go with the left facing back, because I wouldn't have been on that side doing this. So we need to put a sticky piston facing down on this glass block right there, and extended. Hopefully that's correct. Give me 1 second. Let me just go double check this before we continue on. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, yep, I was wrong. It's actually on this side. So we need from this block here that has a torch on it. All right, again, we're on the second floor. This block here with the torch on it, go behind it. On the block underneath it, facing down, we need a sticky piston. All right? And now, under that sticky piston, we need an observer facing the front. All right, so it's facing forward. Yes, he is. All right, so an observer, sticky piston to the left when you're facing the front of this block underneath the one with the torch. Sticky piston facing down, observer underneath him facing front, just like that. All right. Now we need another trapdoor, which I put away. All right. We need another trapdoor. This trapdoor goes on this block here, bottom of it, because you want it to go up. Right? Alright, just like that. So 1 block down, so you could say on the bottom of this glass block, but on the wall. And make sure it faces, make sure it goes up when it closes. Alright. So then, next, we're going to put some redstone dust, which, again, I don't have. I don't need the slabs anymore, I know that. So we need redstone dust on top of the sticky piston, like so. And then, that's it for that section. So now we got to do this exact thing the rest of the floors. All right? So let's come up here. On this block, sticky piston facing down. We need an observer facing front. We need a trapdoor right there, making sure it goes upwards, which it does. All right. Next. Sticky piston facing down. That's to the front. All All right, observer, facing front, trapdoor, right there, going up. All right, and one more. Sticky piston facing down, observer facing forward, trapdoor, down here. All right, and it goes up. All right, so, oh, and then what we forgot. We forgot the redstone dust on top of the sticky pistons. Don't forget those. All right, so just a quick review. One block down from this torch block, we put a sticky piston facing down. We do an observer underneath it, making sure he's facing forward. We do one block down on the wall, a trapdoor that goes upward. And then on top of the sticky piston is redstone dust. All right, for all 4 floors, just not the bottom floor. All right, so that section is done. All right, so now we're getting into the meat of the elevator shaft. All right, those are all the floor stops. Now we're going to work on the actual redstone to get these things to move. So this is where my modifications are different than the original one. So we want to make sure the first floor, or A deck, is selected. Or, no, sorry. We want to make sure E deck is selected, because that's, yeah, just make sure E deck is selected. So make sure that torch is on. All right, we want to make sure all these torches are off for this setup. Okay? All right. Again, you want to make sure this comparator is off and this torch is on. If it's not, select your E deck, and it should be. All right, so we're going to start on this torch here. All right, we're going to make a torch wall. By a torch wall, I mean a wall of torches. So what you do is you put a block on top of the torch, and you put a torch on top of the block. And we're going to repeat that 5 times. So you should have 6 total, but so repeating it 5 times. So that's 1, block on top of torch, torch on top of block. That's 2, block on top of torch, torch on top of block. That's 3, block on top of torch, torch on top of block. That's 4, block on top of torch, torch on top of block. So that's 5. So you should have 6 sets total. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I do this right? Oh no, yeah, it's 7 including this, so it's 6 that you add. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and if you notice, every other torch is off and on. So it's off on the bottom, the one next to it's on, then off, then on, then off, then on, then off. All right. So after this last one, we're gonna put another block on top of it, like so. All right, let me just check this stuff off. All right, so then let's come back behind the wall here, and what you want to do now is you want to make sure that this torch is off. We're gonna put, not all the way over there, we're gonna put 2 blocks going from this torch to this sticky piston, and we're gonna put dust on top of it. All right, you want to make sure this is off, which is why we have E deck selected, because that's the only one that's on right now. All right, so that's the, I'm going to call it electronics for D deck. Next, we're going to go to the next torch. All right, so this should be the torch for C deck. All right, we're going to do the same, we're going to do a similar thing, but we're going to have to start getting creative with how we place the blocks, because it'll get in the way up there. All right, so we're going to start with the same process. We're going to do a torch on top, a block on top of the torch, torch on top of the block. All right, we're going to do this 3 more times. So it's 1, 2, and 3. All right, that's 3 more times. So after that 3rd time, we're going to put another block on top of that torch, like so. All right, and then we're actually going to put the torch now on the outside of the block. So you should have 4 sets of blocks and torches. 1, 2, 3, 4. On top of this last torch should be a block with a torch on the outside of it. All right. Then we're going to do a block on top of this torch, like this. Now we're going to do a torch on top of that block like that. We're going to do another block on top of this torch. Like so. Or not. Oh, maybe if I actually have a block selected. All right, like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put another torch on the outside like this. All right, so now you should have the 4 or so coming up, and you should move out by 1 for a couple and then move out again. All right. Now we're going to do another round of block and torch. All right, and then block, torch, and another block like that. From here, now we're going to start moving back inward. All right, so let's bring a torch. We'll put it on this side. We're going to put a block on top of this one, like so. This gets confusing, so I have to keep checking my notes. Then we're going to do another torch on the inside. So we're just making a curve in. Another block on top of that torch, like that. All right, and at this point, you should be back in line with the original line. All right, we're basically just going around all of this other stuff, keep everything out of the way. All right, so again, we want to just, before we continue on, we got a block and a torch, another block and a torch, another block and a torch, another block and a torch, a block with a torch to the side. Then on top of that, we have a block with a torch and another block with a torch to the side. We have another block and a torch, another block with a torch to the inside. Then we go up and inside again, and then up. All right, so that's where we left off. So on top of this block, we need another torch. And then we got to repeat this 3 more times. There should be 4 total. So there's 1. That's like I'm stuck. 2. And 3. Okay. 1 final block on top of this torch. Like so. All right. And then now what we need to do is we need to put a block in between this piston and this torch like that. And then we put some dust on top of that. All right. So that brings us up to C deck. That was B deck. That was D deck. So this brings us up to C deck. And again, make sure this is off. All right. Which it should be as long as you haven't selected any other buttons. All right. So now we get the fun of doing the next one. And it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of up, out, up, back. But this goes much higher this time. Again, bear with me because this gets very confusing if I don't follow this step by step. So we're gonna do the same thing. All right. Block on top, torch on top of that. All right. We're gonna repeat that 3 more times. So there's 1, 2, 3. All right. Good. We're gonna put a block on top. All right. So far, we're just following this line that we had before. All right. So we're gonna put a torch on the outside, and then we're gonna put a block on top of that, which is there, and a torch on top of that one, which is there. Okay. And then 1 more block on top of this one, which is there. Okay. Like I said, they all line up. You're gonna see that a lot until we get higher up into the build. All right. So now we put yet another torch out here. This is why we had to remove the black wool from this wall, because this comes out that far. It doesn't go out any further than this. This is the furthest out it goes, so don't worry about that. Now we go, same thing, block, torch, but this time we have to repeat this 6 more times. All right, so it's 1. No, not there. Not there. Or there. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Alright, so that's that. So another block on top of the last torch we just placed, like so. Now we start working our way in. All right, so now we put a torch inside, and then a block on top of that. Torch on the inside of the block, like so, because we're bringing it back in. Now we put a block on top of this one, and again, we're back in line, so now we can just go straight up again. All right, so torch on top of that. All right, so just in case you got lost here. So we have this block and torch combo. We do it 4 times total, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And from here, block on top of this torch, we put the torch to the side. Block on top of that, the torch, another block, and we go on the inside again. We do block on top of this torch, and we repeat this setup 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then a final block on top of that. Now we start moving inwards. So a torch here, a block on top of that. Torch here, a block on top of that, and a torch up top. All right, that's where we're at. Now we have to do this 3 more times. So block, torch is 1, block, I'm stuck. Torch is 2, block, torch is 3, and then 1 final block on top of this one, and that's it. This torch will activate this redstone, so as long as they're off, you're good. If by chance, for some weird reason, they're on, you can adjust that by doing more of the zigzag pattern. But if you followed it so far, it should be off. There shouldn't be any difference, because if you had a 6th floor, maybe, but no, this is as far as, as far as we're going. So should be exactly the same as mine. If it isn't, you may have to go back and see where it got messed up. All right, so the last one is the longest one. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing we did previously. All right, so it's a block, torch, repeat that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we put a block on there. We put a torch to the side. So it's all following the same format right now, which is good. Alright, so then we put a block on top of this one. And a torch, and then another block. And then another torch on the inside. Alright, and we put a block on top of that. And we put a torch on top of that. Alright. So now, from here, let me just check all this off so I know where I'm at. Alright, from here, we have to repeat this 15 times. Unlike the 6 the last time, now it's 15. Alright, so we got 1. Torch, that's 1. Block. Torch, that's 2. Block. That's 3. 4. Give me a second. I'm going to make my life a lot easier here and just move these around. All right. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, that gets us all away from everything we need to get away from. All right, so 15 times there. Now we're gonna put another block, final block on top of this one, like so. Notice as high as it goes. That's all I had to remove. I only wanted you to remove what was necessary. All right, so then we put a torch inside of this block, like so. And then we put another block on top of that one, like that. This time we're actually going to put a torch over here, all right? Because we have to keep it away from this stuff right now. So this is the only one that's different, where we go up, we go in, and then we actually have to come out towards you, or to the right, facing the back. Okay. Put a block on top of that one, like that. Torch on top of that one. Final block. And we put one more block on top of this torch, like so. And then we put a block right there next to that torch. And then we put some redstone on top of that block, just like that. And again, it should be off. All right, so this is what this wall looks like. It's the same as this wall, except from here, instead of going up 6 times, we go up 15 times. And then once you get to the top of that, we go a torch in, a block up, a torch out, a block up, a torch on top, a block on top, a block in the middle, redstone dust on top to power this sticky piston. All right, so that's floors A through D done. All right, that's all of the redstone for all the floors except for the bottom one. All right, we'll do that one shortly. We have a couple other things to take care of first before we work on that. So next, let's come all the way over here. We're going to go all the way back up to deck 2. All right, so on this piston here, make sure you're facing the back wall because that's what my instructions tell me to do. All right, we're going to do a temporary block next to this piston, like so. We're going to go 1 block up. And we're going to put some dust on top of this block, like so. All right. I hope that's right. Give me a second. Let me just go double check just to make sure, because I'm really beginning to doubt myself. So hold on. All right, I'm back. And I was right. I was wrong. I thought something didn't look right. So let's just remove that block. That's why I didn't go very far. So the temporary block actually goes up like this. So all right, so we go temporary block out, 1 block up, remove this one, and the dust goes on top of this one. So this block should actually be level with this piston, but you know, sitting at the top of this one, like so. All right. So from here, we put another temporary block, and then some glazed terracotta on top of that. All right, like that. So it should look like this. Okay. Okay. And oh, that's right. I remember this. Now we go back here. We go a temporary block, 1 block up, like that. All right. And then on top of this block, we need to place a dropper. All right. Dropper, be facing any direction, doesn't matter. Just needs to be there. Okay. So should look like this. All right. So we got a block here with some red dust on it. 1 block up and to the left is glazed terracotta. 1 block up to the right is a block with an observer sitting on top. Okay. Now we got to repeat this for all the floors. So let's go and do that. So temporary block, 1 block up. Got some redstone dust. All right. And then we need a temporary block with some glazed terracotta on top. And then we need temporary block, 1 block up. On top of that block is a dropper. Okay. Next. Temporary block, 1 block up. Redstone dust. And temporary block. We got some glazed terracotta on top of that. Over here, temporary block, 1 block up, and a dropper. Okay, 1 more. Temporary block, one block up. Redstone dust. All right. From here, temporary block, glazed terracotta. On this side, we have a temporary block, 1 block up, and a dropper on top. All right. There's that. I really need to find out and figure out what all this stuff does. All I know is when everything's operating, pistons are moving, stuff's happening, and the thing works. So I'm happy about that. But I really want to learn Redstone, so I really need to kind of watch this thing in action and see what the circuit's doing, what's happening. But anyway, so that's that section done. All right, now back to the second floor. I have one more thing to do before we finish connecting all the decks up. All right, so let's go to this torch here next to this glass wall. We need to put a block on top of that, like so. All right, and then we need to put a torch next to it. So grab a torch out like that. We need a sticky piston on top of this torch. Like, no, on top of it, not to the side. Like so. Okay. We need an observer on top of the sticky piston facing away. Like so. Alright, facing that wall. And then we need a block right next to the dropper. Like that. Alright. So that's what that whole section looked like. So basically, at some point, this sticky piston brings the observer up, which activates this dropper, it sends a signal through here, and I don't know what it does, but in any case, yeah, stuff happens. Let's just leave it at that. All right, so up we go, do this again. So block on top of this torch in front of that. On top of that, we need a sticky piston facing up. And on top of that, we need an observer facing away from the glass wall. And then up here, next to the dropper, we need another block. All right, 2 more to go. So block, torch, sticky piston, observer, and block next to the dropper. All right, 1 more. Got a block, got a torch, got a sticky piston on top of the torch. We have an observer facing away, and then we have a block on the dropper. All right, just like that. All right. Now, give me 1 second. I'm just going to double check to make sure all that is correct before we move on to the next step. All right, I'm back. And yes, this is exactly what this should look like. So my notes were actually accurate this time, which makes me feel good. All right, so just a quick review. We have a block on top of this torch. We have a torch to the side of this block. A sticky piston facing upwards. On top of that, you need an observer facing the side wall, away from the glass wall. And then you need a block right next to this observer, or next to this dropper. All right. Now on to wiring up the, what am I doing? Wiring up E-deck. All right. This one isn't as bad as the other ones are. So let's get this taken care of. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this torch. Hello, slime guy. All right, so we're going to put, get down here. Now we have to get down here. All right, so we're going to do temporary block under and 2 blocks out. Like that. All right. Yeah. All right, so it should look like that. So temporary block and 2 blocks out. We're going to put some redstone dust on top of these 2. All right. Just like that. Now we need to do 6 blocks across. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Should have 7 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus that one, there's 7. All right. We're going to put a repeater on this block going that way. All right. Now we're going to put some dust on all the other blocks, like this. All right, just like so. So on this block, we're going to add a block to the front. And then on top of that, we're going to put another repeater, like so. All right, like that. And we're going to put a temporary block in front of this, and then go 1 block up. So you can remove that block. Torch on top of this. And then we're going to put a block on top of this torch. All right. And we're going to put redstone dust on top of this block here. And it should light up because the torch is lit. And from here, we're going to put a temporary block here. And then 1 block up, like that. Alright. That's kind of like a step. We're going to put a sticky piston on top of this, and it should open up automatically. Make sure it's facing upwards, which it is. We're going to put an observer on top of this sticky piston facing us. So should be facing that wall, which isn't there. Perfect. Alright. And we're going to put a block in front of the observer. You have to make sure this is up here. You have to make sure it's extended before you put this block. Otherwise, it's good. The block's going to be in the wrong spot. Alright. And then to the right of this block, we're going to put a dropper facing any which way. Alright. So this is kind of like the setup that we saw up here. Alright. The only difference is this one's extended where this one isn't. So this is why it's important. This is extended so these blocks are in the proper position. Alright. So now, where? Oh, something's off. Something's actually off here, I think. Hold on, 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I figured out what I went wrong. Don't worry, it's nothing major. We just get rid of these things real quick. Those 5 blocks. Alright? The temporary block isn't this way, it's actually this way. So we go 1 temporary block to the right, or left rather, facing the back of the building. We go a temporary block to the left, 1 block up that way. I went the wrong direction. Yeah, I had temporary block to the right, but I was facing this way when I said the right. It's actually this way. But anyway, sorry about that. So after we do the repeater, and we do temporary block, 1 block, and the torch, 1 block on top of the torch, redstone dust on top of that block, like so. And we go temporary block to the left, and 1 block up. Alright? Now here, we put our sticky piston. Like that. Alright? And it extends up just like it did the last time. On top of the sticky piston, we put our observer, making sure he's facing that side. Alright? Facing away from the glass. Okay. Now, in front of the observer, now we place our block and then our dropper. Alright? So, same build as before, just facing a different direction. So I apologize. I said, this is really my first big tutorial. I mean, I did one for the Enterprise D, but that one was much easier than this. This is quite challenging to get it right. Alright? Because I was wondering, because the next step has us doing something and nothing was lining up, so I wanted to make sure before we continued on. So hopefully this all makes sense. I'm sorry. But yeah, we're going to continue on now. So now what we're going to do is from this dropper, alright, we're going to take an observer, we're going to place an observer on top of the dropper, make sure he's facing down like that, or facing up rather. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this observer and we're going to make a line of observers all the way up. Oop, make sure they're facing the correct direction. And we're going to line of observers all the way up the side. All right, in between all of the droppers, like so. So when we're done, we should have a huge wall of observers all pointing upward. All right, from this dropper all the way up to the top one. All right, and that's it for all of the redstone for the elevator build. I apologize. I hope I explained it all. But if you made it this far and everything is lit up the way it's supposed to be lit up, congratulations, and I'm going to pat myself on the back for helping you out and doing it right, even with my couple little mistakes. All right, so as long as with button number 1 selected, this piston is extended and the rest are not. As of right now, we're good. All right. Next up, we're actually going to build the flying machine. That's what they call it. It's the actual elevator car, really. But it's called a flying machine. So we're going to build that next and see if it works. All right. So here we go. Actually, before we get started, let me just double check my notes. So I'll do another quick jump cut. That way I can save you the hassle of sticking around. Hold on one second. All right, so I've double checked my notes, made sure everything's hunky-dory, so I can try and do this in one take. It's time to build the flying machine, or the elevator, if you want to call it that instead. So let's get started on that. So we're gonna come down here to this repeater. We're gonna put a temporary block in front of it, and we're gonna put an obsidian block to the side. All right, just like that. All right. Now we're going to put 2 slime blocks on top of that obsidian block, just like so. All right. The side of the top one, we're going to put another slime block and another slime block on top of that. Now, underneath these 2 slime blocks, if I can get down there, we're going to put an observer facing into this slime block. All right, so make sure he's facing that way. Okay. Good. That's done. All right. On this side of this, on this slime block, we're going to place a sticky piston and make sure it's facing up, like so. All right. So far, that's what you should have. All right. So next, on top of this sticky piston, we're going to place another observer and make sure he's facing into this slime block. Okay? Now, grab another sticky piston. We're going to put it right here on top of this slime block. Make sure it's facing up. Now we're going to put 2 more slime blocks on top of this sticky piston like that. Alright? So now, we're going to go to this slime block, and we're going to put another slime block and another one on top of that. So this is what you should be seeing right now. Alright? Alright. So here, we're going to put another observer. Yep. So here we're going to put another observer. So he's facing into this slime block, like so. Okay. And then we're going to put another sticky piston on this slime block, but make sure it's facing down, like that. All right. Just like that. Perfect. All right. And on this sticky piston is another observer facing this way. All right. So you should have, right at the moment, 4 observers, and each one facing into a sticky block. Okay. Now, in between these 2 slime blocks, we're going to put another sticky piston. Make sure it's facing down. No, not it's out. Down. Like that. All right. We're getting there. Almost done. Grab a glass block. All right. Grab a glass block, and we're going to put it right here next to this sticky piston, right in front of the terracotta wall. Just like that. All right. Grab yourself a redstone block. We're going to put this redstone block on this sticky piston. Or, I'm sorry, on that slime block. Just like that. So that's what the front of it should look like. Go up here so you can see. All right? Want to pause it for a second just to make sure, but that's what the front of it should look like. All right, so now we're going to go to the back. And we're going to place 2 sticky blocks, or I'm sorry, 2 slime blocks. One here and one here. So one in between each piston. Like so. Okay? Good. Now back to the front. Last step. Grab yourself whatever block you want to use as a floor. We'll use a block of quartz. Alright, and we're going to put a block of quartz on each of these slime blocks, and a block of quartz on each of these slime blocks. So this is your floor, and this is your ceiling. This is where you'll stand when you get on the elevator. All right? And that's it. That's the flying machine. That's the elevator complete. Now it's time to test it. And if I did everything correctly and showed you everything correctly, this should move. So here's the big reveal. Let's we'll start all slow. We'll send it up to D-Deck and see what happens. All right. And we have movement. There she goes. Make sure she stops up here on D-Deck. There it is. We can send it up to C-Deck. Make sure all the buttons work. So yeah, not working. Let's see why. See if I got my... Oh, that's good. What if I hit it from down here? This is why you test stuff. Now I gotta figure out what I broke. Alright, so there's something with this button. See what I messed up. So if I hit this, that turns on. Ah, see? Something's causing this wall. So what's causing that wall? What's sticking on this wall? Because you can see it's sticking out. So let's see what's hitting that wall. Nothing up here. Oh, there's a wall missing. Interesting. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. So theoretically, yours should be working, and mine was just missing a wall for some reason. I must have hit it and knocked it out by mistake. So let's try that again. Oh, it's on C-Deck, so let's go to D-Deck. The C-Deck was never going to work. Oh, we're going back down to D-Deck. Alright, let's try C-Deck again. There it goes. Alright, perfect. Alright. Next, B-Deck. There it goes. Let's send her all the way up to A-Deck. Alright, so it's working. With the one wall missing for some reason. Must have broken it and not realized it. But yeah, it works. It should be working for you. As long as you've followed my tutorial, it should be working. So, next step is we're going to build the doors. So we're going to leave it on A-Deck for right now. So we have some room to maneuver. But, yep, we're going to do the doors next. Let me just do my... Oh yeah, before I do that, since it's all the way on A-Deck, hopefully you left it up there, we're going to add an obsidian block all the way up top here. Alright, so since it's on A-Deck, stick an obsidian block right on top of this slime. That'll prevent any future mishaps from happening. If by chance something happens and this thing starts going and it doesn't stop, it'll just keep going and going and going infinitely. Put the obsidian block here and it stops it. It won't go past that. So, kind of a fail-safe, just to make sure it stays where it belongs. But yep, so now we're going to do the doors. If you want to do the doors, you can continue along. If not, you can skip this part and go right to the finishing up and putting the shaft back together section. But I'm going to take do another quick cut just to double check and make sure my notes are correct so I don't have to stop repeatedly. Just give me a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Notes checked out. We should be good to go. So it's time to do the doors. Again, if you don't want to do the doors, you can skip this section and move right on to the putting the shaft back together part. So let's get moving here. All right. So we're gonna go inside. We're gonna come over to this piston right here. All right. So we're gonna put a temporary block on this right there. And then we're going to go one block out. All right. Temporary block, one block out. Just like that. All right, we're gonna put some redstone dust on here, just like so. All right, let's check off my notes. All right, and then we're going to put another temporary block in front of that one, and then go down by one. All right, so it should look like this. So on this block, to get it out, we need a repeater. All right, so we put a repeater on this one, facing forward, like so. Make sure it's set for 1 tick. All right. Now we're going to do another temporary block in front of this one. Go 1 block up and 3 blocks forward, like so. All right. So temporary block, 1 block up, 3 blocks forward. Move that. On these blocks, we're going to put redstone dust here and here with a repeater in the middle facing forward, like that. Okay? That's what that should look like currently. All right. So when you're done with that one, I did that already. Right. Underneath this block with a repeater, we're going to put a, well, all right, so we're gonna have to remove a little floor here so we can get down there. Probably all this floor. Like this. All right, so underneath this repeater, all right, we're gonna put a regular piston and make sure it's facing the back. All right, so it should look like that. All right, on the back of this piston, we need a torch. Let's go over here. All right, so let's get a torch. Back of this piston, we need a torch. So, boom, torch right there. Perfect. All right. Now, on this block, all right, let's get over here. So, on this block, which we may just need to remove a couple things so we can get to it. That's fine. We need a dropper facing forward. We need another dropper on top of him, like so. All right, just like that. On this dropper, we need an observer, but he needs to be facing down. Oh my god. Right, well. Really, he needs to be facing up, but you face down when you place it. So make sure the arrow is facing up, okay? On this one, we need another observer in the opposite direction, like so. All right, so the arrow should be, one should be facing up, the other one should be facing down, just like that. Okay? Then place an observer on each one and make sure the arrows are pointing that way. Okay? So arrows should be facing to the right. And the other ones, you got one observer facing up and one observer facing down. Just like so. Now, get yourself some dispensers here. Let's see, what do I don't need the sticky pistons, so we'll get that. All right, get yourself some dispensers, and you're going to put 2 dispensers facing upwards there. And then over here, you need 2 dispensers. Not that way. We'll go behind it. There we go. You need 2 dispensers facing down, like so. All right, that's your door. All right, so we got to repeat that for every floor. So, good way to see what I missed, so we can, make sure it's right. So we're gonna again come to this bottom. Sorry. Bottom of this piston. All right. We're gonna 2 blocks out. Remove the temporary block. We're gonna put dust on top of it, like so. All right. And we're going to go temporary block down, block out. Remove the temporary block, and then we're gonna put a repeater. If I can find them again. Apparently got rid of them. Oh, it's still there. I'm just blind. Repeater facing that way. Now from here, go temporary block, 1 block up, 3 blocks out. 1, 2, and 3. All right, you can remove the temporary block. We're going to put redstone dust on the outside ones, and then a repeater in the middle, facing forward. Oh, that's facing the wrong way. Like that. All right. Now we're going to put our droppers. I think we really need to remove this wall. I think this is what's confusing me. Sorry. Let's get rid of this gray concrete for right now. Because it's in the way. Perfect. That's better. So now we need a dropper facing left. Another dropper on top of that, facing that wall. And we're going to put an observer on top of this. Like so. We're going to put an observer under this one. Like so. We're going to put an observer that way, an observer that way. Again, make sure top one faces up, bottom one faces down, and both of these face to the that side, away from that shaft. All right, from here, now we put dispensers. We got 2. We got 1 has to be facing up, 1 there, 2 facing down, 1 there, down. I said, and then 1 more. Oh my God, there. All right, there it is. Door's done. All right, we'll try this another time. Hopefully by me doing this over and over again, you'll get it. So we come to the next piston that's above this torch. And temporary block, 1 block out. Remove the temporary block. And we put dust on top of that. Temporary block out. 1 block down. Repeater on top of this block. Like so. Temporary block out. 1 block up. 3 blocks in front of this, 2 and 3. We got dust, and repeater. All right. In front of this wall, we need 2 droppers, both facing towards us. Oh, like so. Top of this dropper is an observer. Observer underneath this one. Observer in front of it. Observer in front of it. Then we need our dispensers. 2 facing up, like so. 2 facing down. Like so. All right. That door is done. Next. Same thing up here. Come to this piston. 2 blocks. Remove that one. Redstone dust on top. Temporary block up front. 1 below. Remove the temporary block. Repeater on top of the temporary block. Facing the wrong way. Facing front. Alright. Temporary block, 1 up. 3 front. Get rid of that one. Did I get rid of the other one down here? I did not. Great. Dust. Repeater. That's a torch. Alright. Then back over here in the corner. Dropper. Observer. On. Another observer. Down far enough. Observer next to him. Observer next to him. Then get your dispensers. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Getting there. 1 more to go. This one's in front of the elevator. This one might prove to be a little trickier. Move the elevator if I have to. Alright, same thing. Piston. Temporary block, 1 block in front. Redstone dust. Temporary block in front of it, 1 below. Remove that. Repeater on top of that. Alright. Temporary block in front, one on top. 3 in front of this one. 2 and 3. Remove that block there. We'll do dust, repeater in the middle. And our dropper's next. Get in here, come on. Dropper, more on top. Boom, facing the wrong way. Come on, drop down. There we go. Server on top. 1 down below. 1 in front, 1 in front. And get our dispensers. 1 there, 1 there. Now we gotta do... We gotta try and do this. 1 there, and 1 there. Alright, there it is. That's the doors. Now let's fill them up and see if they work properly. So we're going to go over to our shulker box here and let me get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So make sure you grab some buttons. You got to have your buttons. And then that's not it. That's 1. And then you need, like I said, 20 powdered snow. So let me just grab them all. Alright, so let's get moving. So you want to put a powdered snow in every dispenser. Like so. Alright. Like that. Just like that. Alright. Grab a button. Stick a button on top. Activate it. Get rid of the button. Stick a button down here. Activate. Oh. That's it. There's your door. Alright. You do that for every floor. You want to do that for each floor. Every floor, you put a powdered snow in each dispenser, and you close them with the buttons, except for the floor that wherever your elevator is. Wherever your elevator is, you still put the powdered snow. Here, I'll do that. I'll show that. Yeah. Wherever your elevator is, in my case, it's all the way up top here. You still put the powdered snow in, like so. All right. But don't activate them. Alright? It should do it automatically. So, wherever the elevator is, make sure there's powdered snow in the dispensers, but don't activate them. All the other floors, put your powdered snow in. Alright. And then activate them. Make sure they're all closed like that. All right. 1 more. All right. So when you're done, should look like this. Every deck has closed doors except for the deck with your elevator on it. So let's see if everything's working. So it's on A deck, so let's bring it down to B deck and see what happens. It takes a second, and did not close my doors. So something messed up. Let's see if these open up. Alright, so I messed something up somewhere. Let's see where it's screwed up. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I know exactly what I did wrong. I showed it to you on the first floor, but I didn't do it on the rest of them. Hopefully you caught it. But I sure didn't. I forgot this piston and torch all the way up to the line. So let's grab a piston too. So underneath the repeater on this line, you need a piston facing backwards, and you need a torch on the back of the piston, like so. All right. And what it just did is it just activated the doors, but that's fine. We can fix it. So piston underneath the repeater, torch on the back of the piston, and the doors just open. Piston on the back of the repeater, or underneath the repeater, torch on the piston. And one more. Piston on the back of the repeater, torch on the piston. Alright. Now what we have to do is now we have to close all these doors that we just opened by putting the torches on. So just do this again. No big deal. Close, close, close. Done, done, done. Hopefully you caught that error and did it correctly. Go away. Alright, and that one's already closed. Alright, so take two. Let's try this one more time. If this doesn't work, I'm deleting the video. It's on A deck, the doors are open. Let's send it down to B deck. See what happens. Doors are closed, and the elevator is moving. Alright. The stop and doors open. It does. Look at that. Woo, I did something right. Alright, let's try C deck now. Go to C deck. Doors are closed. Elevator's moving. These doors should open right up. Perfect. Now we're going to send it down to E deck because, well, we'll try D deck. Why not? Make sure it's all working, right? Good. And one more. Down to E deck. And we're broken. Why isn't the E deck button working? Is it working up here? Let's see. E deck. Oh, something's broken. See what's going on now. It was working earlier. All working before, so what did I break? Alright, I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna troubleshoot and find out why E deck isn't working all of a sudden. Hopefully it's working for you, but I need to figure it out. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. And I figured out the problem. So I believe when we last left, before I left, we're having an issue where the elevator would not come down to the E deck. Go everywhere else but E deck. And I finally figured out why. If you followed this tutorial to the letter, you more than likely had the exact same problem. So, and if you're a redstoner, you probably figured it out right away. I'm not, so it took me a little while. But here's the issue. This repeater is on the wrong block. Right? It's supposed to be on this block, with the redstone dust after it. What happened, everything was working fine until we added the doors. Adding the doors added more ticks to redstone, which diminished it, so it stopped working. So with the repeater in the proper spot, if I hit E deck now, it starts working again. Alright, here it goes. The other issue I noticed I think I mentioned it before. There we go, the door opens. Other issue I noticed, and I think I mentioned it before, we'll bring this right back up to C deck to show you. And you can see right there, the elevator starts moving before the door closes. The door is supposed to close before the elevator leaves the floor. And you notice it's actually opening in certain areas when it's not supposed to. Alright, if we want to go down to D deck just to show you. You'll see the elevator starts to move before the door closes. Alright. So that's another easy fix. Something I forgot to add when we were putting the doors in. So what you want to do is you want to come to this piston, right? The bottommost piston here that's in front of the redstone. And you want to add a torch. Right? You want to add a torch to every piston. If I can get up there. Oh my god. There. You want to add a piston to every torch next to this redstone dust. All the way up. 4 and one more. Alright. And you can see it lights everything up nicely. Alright, so now if we come back out, and the elevator is on, well, because we added the torch, it actually closed this, so let's open these back up real quick. Alright, now if we send it to, we'll go up to C deck. But see, the doors will close first, then the elevators start moving. Alright, we're going to bring it right back down to E deck. Door closes, elevator starts moving. Exactly what we want. And you'll notice too, the door won't open and close as it passes. Or shouldn't anyway. There we go. And as the door opens, yes. So there we have it. A couple little errors. Not too bad, I guess. I had a lot of jump cuts to double check my notes and whatnot, and hopefully it saved you guys some time. You didn't have to bear with me and running around checking everything, which I'm glad I had all these things here because it helped me figure everything out. But there we go. There we have it. We have a working elevator in the shafts. So, what's next? Well, next it's time to rebuild the shaft, put everything back together. So what I would suggest doing, and you'll thank me for this, is send your elevator all the way up to A deck. Alright? Just send it all the way back up. You can sit here and watch it if you want. Now I'm going to tell you, this is not the fastest thing in the world. If you're looking to use this to get around your ship in an efficient manner, not going to happen. You're better off just flying up the grand staircase. This is more for fun, really, for functionality, to have a working elevator inside your ship. That's the whole purpose of this. So, all right. So now let's start putting the shaft back together. All right. So, first things first, we can put this wall back in. All right. If you want, you can close this back up. So, get quartz slab there, or quartz block there. We got a quartz block here. We got our smooth quartz slabs back in. All right. Then we can put this wall back together. So, got our gray blocks, which are still there, and then we just take our black wool and just run it right back up to the top. Right. Again, I'm going to go back to World Builder because I'm trying to save a little bit of time here. So I'm just going to copy and paste, but this is what we're going to start with. We're going to put this wall back the way it belongs. we'll put a block there. And we'll select it. Select that one. All the way up. Alright. Fill it in. Boom. Alright, so that wall's back together. Probably should finish adding the gray concrete. We're going to start with the easy stuff first. Alright. Put our gray concrete in. Good. Alright, so that wall's back together. Perfect. Alright. This wall... Nope, we're not doing anything with this wall. We will fix the elevator shaft, though. So, first thing you may want to do is take off this top layer of slabs. Alright. Take these slabs out, make them regular quartz blocks, and then we'll put smooth stone slabs back on. That just kind of evens that back out, recenters that, makes it look okay. All right, back inside the elevator, we are going to actually drop this. We're gonna cut this back. Oh, it's going the wrong way. All right. Fill this floor back in. We'll take these two out. We'll put our legs back on. We'll put our trapdoors back on, like so. Just, like I said, just knocking everything back, making everything by one block. All right. On the roof here, get rid of these stairs, and we will put our quartz blocks across the top. Rebuild the roof, like so. All right. If you want, you can put your quartz stairs back. Oh my goodness. All right. Sea lantern, if you want, you can put a third one in to even it out, or you can take these two out and just leave one in the middle, however way you want to do it. Got my mirror here. You can leave it like that, or I can add another row if I want. Let's just leave it like this. All right, let's get rid of the carpet here, and we will make these quartz blocks so it has a frame around it. All right, and then we just put our wall back together. All right, just building the wall back up. Grab the... All right, there you go. Elevator's back together. All right, not too bad. First, now you want to go to whatever floor you can get into. Well, you're on the part of the same floor you're on. Just go back into your shaft. All right, so that's the elevator car put back together. All right, can't do anything with this wall. It's got to stay like this. You don't want to interfere with this at all. So, but we can fill in this back wall as much as possible. So you can, as long as it doesn't touch any of the redstone, you can fill in everything on this wall like so. All right, we can go down here. We can work it all the way up. This will help hide the red from being seen from the outside. All right. That's good. And we can fill in this whole section here. All right. Again, I'm going to cheat. All right, select that. Select that. Fill it in. Boom. Done. All right. The only open area is just this column here that's got the torches, the torch columns, whatever you want to call them. All right. The only thing left inside is the front wall. So it's up to you, but you know, again, just fill everything in with your black wool or whatever color you used. Now, in between, oh, I also forgot. Hang on, I also forgot something. One thing we can do. So the elevator car. So when you're standing on the elevator, all right, I can get in here. Standing on the elevator, you got no walls. So what you can do, and what I've done, is get my quartz pillar, and as long as it's not touching any of the redstone, you can take a line of quartz pillar blocks, not quartz pillar blocks, and run it all the way up the side. All right. Just like so. Right up to the top of that. All right. Same thing on this side. Down. Of course, we're here though. All right. Put a line all the way up. Stuck somewhere. Alright, just like that. That way, you have a wall. Can't get pushed out. Okay? So let's head back down now. And now we can finish filling in the rest. So, what I've done is I've taken this area, right? This area here, and I've actually run black wool straight up the shaft. Excuse me. All right, just like that. That way it covers, you know, it covers all that. If you like, and I've done it as well, is fill it with black concrete and build the front of it with black concrete, or brown concrete rather. Let's do this from the bottom. The goal here is to finish on the top floor, by the way. So fill this whole thing in with brown concrete, and it makes a nice little entranceway for the door, if you will. All right. And now, do that. Get your black wool. You can go as far as this, and then just get all the way to the top. All right. All the way to the top. Another thing you can do if you like, this is completely up to you, is you can even fill in this part. Start here. Right? You're going to fill in that whole section. What this does is it will keep you from being able to see anything back there, right? That's completely up to you if you want to leave this area open so you can see when you're coming down or see when the elevator's coming down. That's your choice as well, however way you want to do it. Me, I close the whole thing up. I don't want to see any of the machinery. That's why I did it this way. I want to see as little of this machinery as possible when we're using the elevator. So, as I said, I'll just continue up the line and close the whole thing up. Come over to this side and same thing. Work our way all the way up the shaft. Alright, one more. And if you want, you can put the gray lines back in. You know, the choice is yours. Whatever you want to do. I think I did on my, on the one that's actually in the ship. You know, you can put the gray lines back in if you want. To denote the floors. That's completely your choice. Alright, so work our way up. Just keep working our way up the floors. Oh, I forgot one. Alright. Keep going. As long as none of the blocks are in the way of any of this, you can fill this in too. You're not going to see it, but you can if you want. Alright, as long as none of the blocks are in the way of any of this redstone or slime blocks, you're fine. Alright. So we can keep working our way up. Here, almost done. I think we only got one floor left after this. Alright, that's done. And the last one. If I can get out of here. Last floor. This one's a little easier because oh, it's just easier. Just go straight across. One more. There we go. Elevator shafts back together. The last thing we want to do is we want to put the top back on. So here we go. We'll put our gray concrete line back here. Put another one here. Alright. And let's put our quartz blocks back in. Our quartz smooth slabs. Smooth quartz slabs rather. Again, concrete or quartz blocks. Make our frames. The smooth quartz slab in between. Finish the floor back out. Alright, one more. There it is. Shafts back together. Now the final thing to do is fix the front. So start on A deck. So come back out of the boathouse or the boat deck, you know, come down through, come down to A deck behind your grand staircase, and we'll finish putting the front back together. Like I said, you'll fill in the holes here with your brown concrete or whatever color concrete or whatever you're using. All right, and you can put your iron bars back in like so. Right, and that one's done. And I told you to bring it up here so that way you can kill two birds with one stone. You can test the elevator as well as go down to the next floor to finish putting it together. So we'll go to D deck. we can test it out. Here we go. Very noisy. Oh, I want to hit D deck instead of B deck. Alright, so we're going on a journey now. There we go. Welcome to D deck. So while we're here, we might as well take care of this. There, fill this up. Those in. Grab your iron bars. Alright. Now let's go to B deck, because that's what I meant to do. If I can get in there before it closes. Beauty about powdered snow too is you can go through it if you have to. Quick enough to get on before the elevator actually starts moving. Alright, now we're on B deck. Where I meant to be to begin with. Like I said, that was the purpose of having the elevator up top, so you can just start on A deck and work your way down. Alright, just put this back together, like so. There it is. Alright, that one's done. Now, C deck. And if you have time, you can... I missed it. Alright, here's C deck. Let somebody else out. Fill those in. Wrong color. Alright. One more. There we go. That one's done. I believe that's all of them. But we'll check anyway. Why not? Testing the elevator out. So we're on D deck. So let's go to D deck again. There we go. Fill this in. One's already done. So now we want E deck. Hello. Did you use the elevator? And nope, we didn't fill in the iron bars. That's fine. We'll do that now. Alright, that's it. That's everything. Done. Here's your working elevator inside of your ship. Well, it should be inside of your ship if you did it inside your ship. Otherwise, it's out here. So now, let's say you built it out here and you want to copy and paste it into your world. Like I said, it can be done. You probably have some issues with it. So let's do that first. So since it's a block down, right? You want to go make sure you select everything. We'll select here. We'll go all the way up to the top. I'll show you what happens when you copy and paste. Watch it work perfectly this time. Alright, now we'll select this corner. That way we have the whole enchilada in there. All the buttons, everything's in there. Alright, let's just make sure the bottom's in there too. Yep, we're good. Alright, so there's your elevator shaft selected. Let's go ahead and copy that. Alright, and we're just going to paste it next to it. Alright, so you get it in position in your ship, you hit paste, and this is kind of what happens. I don't hear anything moving in there. Alright, if I turn off the door. Elevator's not... did it actually work? Well, sort of. It moved up here. But notice the door didn't open all the way. So, in that case, you just do that, open the door. Any doors that are open that shouldn't be open, you can just put some buttons on to close them. Okay. That one's good. Now I have to fix the one on the bottom. So, this copy paste actually worked. Doesn't always. Oops. So let's see. Bring it down to E deck. There it is. Alright. Well, that one worked. Let's try it again. Alright, so let's see. We'll paste it over here now. See what happens. It's gonna make a liar out of me because it's not very often that it actually works when I do this. Oh, well, it's working. Well, in any case, but again, the doors are messed up, so you'd have to fix the doors. Just doing exactly what I showed you before. Just activate them to close them, or open them depending on where the elevator is. But, like I said, if you copy and paste it, and it doesn't work, well, then I can't show you because it's not broken. You can try just doing it again. Usually the second or third time will correct it. I guess it's just a way it ends up pasting the blocks. But a lot of times what'll happen, let's see if I can break one. I'm not sure if I can break one or not. Oh, well, here. It's broken. Alright, there you go. So if it breaks, usually just a matter of having to put stuff back where it belongs. So, in this case, this observer should be up here, and this sticky block should be underneath this observer. Alright, that's one problem. So, might have to do is get the floor out of the way so you can place an observer on top of this one, facing the correct direction, of course. All right, and then you can take a sticky piston, grab one here. All right, you can place a sticky piston, make sure it faces up. All right, so that's what that should look like. Okay. This side looks good. It just went up and stopped for some reason. Instead of actually, it would break a little bit, but... Alright, and then worst case scenario, what you want to do is you want to put a sticky piston underneath one of the middle slime block and activate it. It brings it back down where it belongs, if you're lucky. Don't forget to put, if you had to remove the obsidian block, don't forget to put that back. That's not an obsidian block. There we go. Alright, well, it's back to where it belongs. Let's see if it moves. There it goes. But yeah, fixing the elevator is just a matter of putting it back together where it belongs. So sometimes you may have to... Oh, I'm sending it up to the top, to the middle. Right, I'm using this one. No. Most of the time, it's just a matter of having to put this back together like this. Sometimes this will end up here. You know, there'll be a gap in between, so you just gotta basically, you can activate the pistons or put pistons in to move them around. But if you really want to, you can bust it all up and put it back together. But without a broken one, it's really hard to show you. But that's it. What we're gonna do now, real quick, is we'll use this one here. Head back into the ship, and I'll show it to you. Inside the ship. There we have it. There's completed elevator. I don't know where it is, so we're just going to hit A deck and wait for it to come up. You can kind of peek in here maybe and see where it is. On this side because there's a wall, but there it is. Like I said, if you want, you can leave the section open if you want to be able to watch the floors as you go down them. That's completely up to you. The whole design of this is completely up to you, but this is the elevator shaft in the Titanic. Here it comes. And like I said, this is by far not a quick way to get between floors. So we're on A deck. Let's go down to D deck. All right, get in here real quick. Off we go. Yeah, I left some of mine open. Let's see. That's an option for you if you want. Actually, I think on this I left them open. So that's a complete option for you if you want to be able to see through. The only thing about that I don't like is that you can see the stuff. So here we are, D deck. See, you can see all the machinery back there. Again, if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. I may change it and close it up. I don't know, undecided. But out there I closed it up. In here I forgot I left it open, so you can see what it looks like when it's open. So that's it. Hope I was able to show you guys how to do this well enough. Hope you didn't get too lost. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you. And if you have any issues, I'll do my best to help you solve them. But that's it for now. Enjoy your elevator, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye now.